Salvete discipuli. Today we are reviewing 3rd-io and 4th conjugation verbs. Again, the majority of what you need to do for these videos is to remind yourself of the paradigm, of the example, of the pattern on how to conjugate these verbs. Just to remind you, 3rd-io verbs have an ERE without a macron in their second principal part. The only difference between a regular third and a 3rd-io is that a 3rd-io ends in io in its first principal part. The present stem for a 3rd-io is formed by removing, right? Oh, let me get my little pen out. By removing the ERE from the second principal part, and so your present stem is foc. Now, just like for 3rd conjugation verbs, this present stem doesn't have a vowel on it, so you need to provide the vowel. The only difference between this 3rd-io and 4th then is that the 3rd-io always retains its I. So as it conjugates in the present, you know, it's not just facio, facis, facit, facimus, facitus, faciunt, not just facunt, okay? Now, the 4th conjugation, technically the 4th conjugation gets its present stem by removing the RE from the second principal part, just like the 1st and 2nd conjugation. So its present stem is ow, D, okay? What that means is that all you need to do is add the endings and the signifying vowels. So you still need to include the U in the 3rd person plural of the present active indicative. You still need to add the A and the E in the future onto this ow-d, onto this present stem. For this reason, I often think it's simpler just to think of the present stem of the 4th conjugation as like a 3rd-io without that I, and you just produce the I and the A and the E for the future, or just the I or the IU in the present, but whatever the case. So this is an example of a 3rd-io conjugation. Again, you'll notice that there are a lot of similarities between the 3rd and the 3rd-io, most specifically that it's is, it, imus, itus, and then again, 3rd-ios have to retain their I's, so it's iunt in the 3rd person plural. Again, in the imperfect active, faciebam, not just facebam. In the future, faciam, facies, faciet, instead of just agam, ages, aget. Perfect, as always, functions like it always does. You take your 3rd principal part, remove the I, and then you add the ending. So facie, facisti, facit, facimus, facistus, facirunt. All that's the same. In the passive, just notice that just like a regular 3rd conjugation, the second person singular present passive indicative is an E before the RIS, E without the macron. The difference between this one, of course, and a regular 3rd conjugation is that in the future it's facieris. So you actually won't confuse a second person singular future passive with present passive in the 3rd-io. Again, as for the rest of the tenses and voices and so on and so forth, they form exactly as you would expect them to, always retaining their I, right? Faciar, facieris, facietur. And in the perfect, it's always regular. So facta sum, facti sumus. Okay? Keep in mind that, like all 3rd conjugations, it forms the present passive infinitive by removing the entire ERE from the second principal part and replacing it with an I, okay? To form the imperative, in the singular it's just an E, and the plural it's an ITE. Remember, foc makes up one of those 4 irregular singular imperatives, duke, deek, foc, and bear. So there you go. The last thing we need to review is the 4th conjugation, and again, Fourth conjugations like third IOs have to retain their I. So you will notice it's audiunt, right? They hear. Audiabam, right? Audiam, so on and so forth. And then the perfect, of course, always forms the same way regardless of the conjugation. And we all love that. In the passive, you know, audior, audierus. So here there's no special second person singular present passive form you have to worry about. It actually forms exactly as you expect it to, okay? Let's see. Like the first and second conjugations, when you get the present passive infinitive for a fourth conjugation verb, you replace the final E with an I, okay? And then the singular imperative is just an I. The plural imperative is an ITE. The last thing I want to remind you guys about is the irregular verb sum esse fui futurum. Here is a full conjugation in the indicative. And don't forget about its compound. Don't forget about its compound possum, okay? All right. Take good notes on all of these. I will check your notes tomorrow in class, and have a lovely evening.